Next up, we have Rodrigo to talk about some patterns in chaos. Also, if you guys are in the back, if you guys want to come up a little bit closer, we have a lot of space. It's very homey, so feel free to squeeze in and come to the front.
Hi. Sorry. Hi. Can you everyone hear me? All good? Great. So, hello. Hi everyone. I'm Rodrigo, staff engineer at DuneCon25. The title of the talk is going to be Patterns in Chaos. And that describes exactly what we deal with every day at DuneCon25. So, you will ask why? Because we are analyze multiple chains, like dozens. Each one has its own runtime, execution model, different tooling, different communities. So it's a lot of data. So when you start seeing that, it's kind of chaotic. So we started to analyze this big data. Then it came to become some structure in it. And when you give structure to this, you can start seeing patterns. So today I will guide you through 5 behavioral patterns that at DuneCon we detect. Thanks for having me here. So let's get started. So in the next 15 minutes, I will talk you what already mentioned the multi-chain forensic challenge, these 5 forensic patterns, and then some conclusions. So multi-chain forensic challenge, as I already mentioned, chaos becomes big when you start to analyze a lot, but when you give it structure, and it becomes more predictable because you have patterns. So, the challenge already mentioned, but what's the opportunity here for us? First, unify signals, then identify patterns, analyze these behaviorals, and what's most important here for us, prevent people from getting scammed. So, pattern number 1, sniper detection. So basically here you can see like the Boston Dynamics with a sniper explicitly explains a little bit more what this is. So bots attacks are listening for any token that has been launched in any of these platforms, and once they listen to this by military grade precision, like less than 10 milliseconds, a lot of the supply. So as you can see, acquiring more than 50 supply, and as we all know, when you have a lot of this, you can move the price. So basically, it normally descends on a dump, and a rug. And they create new chains, create new tokens in new chains, and repeat the process. So, for us, when a token has more than 50%, it's high risk until 90. It's not always a rug, but between 9 to 100% critical risk. This will be a dump and pump. And below 50 is low risk, so beware what we have. What we have found. So here you see 2 charts. These are Dune charts. Basically, we created 5 dashboards in Dune. They are publicly, you can use them, and it uses small instance, so everyone can run it and edit the queries if you want to try them. So we analyze, this is only analyzing Solana Pump Fund for 1 day, and you can see like, we try to detect if there were any launch moment that the bots were not working. No, there are no safe windows, they work 24/7, they don't sleep as us, as humans, so you don't have any leverage there. And the token, here you can see the buy percentage for one of the token areas that we analyze, and most of them buy more than 60%. So a lot of bots going on there. So, conclusion here, human reaction between 200 milliseconds, 300 milliseconds, and bots react less than 10 milliseconds. So, big disadvantage for us. Next pattern, cross-chain attribution. So, attackers normally migrate from chain to chain, and they think they have new identities. Well, actually no. We found patterns in there with 2 things. We do, this is mainly for ABMs. So we do fund flow analysis, so we know where the money is coming from them, and also we do static code analysis with fingerprints in the smart contracts. As normal people, when we write, we have like a fingerprint. Well, writing code we can find some of these patterns. So here we have, it works. You deploy a rag pool, you make profit, go to another chain. The Spider-Man meme basically, I think, is placing very fast. And on the Dune chart here, this is all the wallets that we analyzed that have the probability to be a scam. So here you can see how many chains they have used. Here we are pruning all the EVM's chains. So there are a lot of critical, like there is no low here, and we actually have a low available. So what do we got? Given these algos, with all the chains that we analyze, we have a 70 to 80% success rate on detecting these cross-chain attacks. So we are not that prone on doing this. And here on the bottom one, this is the code uniqueness. So basically, they don't even care to change the code that they're deploying. Maybe they change a few things, but yeah. Same contract everywhere, same pattern, same behavior. Pattern number 3, function signature risk. Okay, this is more complicated one. We all know we do signatures. Signatures, you have to be aware of what you sign. So, we started delegating every signature that has sent through a transaction, and more of, if you do, for example, transfer ownership, this might not be that risky because you are doing something with your own contracts. But if someone executes a delegate call without transfer ownership, there is no going back and you lose their contract. So, what 400 delegate calls in these last 7 days that we analyzed, and 7 of them triggered transfer ownership, and we found that 1 out of 3 of these led to exploits or rag pulls. So beware whenever you are interacting with a smart contract. This is a real scenario that we have got. So a user has a ledger person is trying to sign a transaction and send it to the contract. He's saying that it's a proven token swap. It looks legitimately, but after that he was the owner of a smart contract, a very big one, and he was doing behind that there was a delegate call with a transfer ownership. So we detect them, we pull him through our UI, and he avoided, so he wasn't right. And here you can see like all the delegate calls that have been there. So please do transaction simulation if you can. This will avoid you to do rugs. So pattern number 4, behavioral attacks. Kermit the Frog with sending a lot of bullets. Basically, that's them. If you know those transactions are transactions that are penny cost, so with a little bit of money, you can do 2 things. Sending these small transactions to like frozen a wallet by reputation poisoning. Reputation poisoning is basically if I'm a no-fact sanction wallet or already known hacker and I'm labeled, these protocols might think that I am interacting with it and flag me as risky, so they froze you. That's not a big deal because you don't lose money, at least you get frozen and you can do appellations. But the most and more danger is address poisoning. Basically, they try to, if you see most of the UIs at the first of Ethereum or VMs, they show you the first 4 letters, then 3 dots, and the last three characters. So, if the dot transactions try to simulate this, so they send you a small transaction with the same 4 letters of the thing, and the user is normally used to, for example, if you have a cold wallet where you say all your savings there, and you copy the address, everything from all the transactions you send, you might copy the wrong transaction instead of this. So, funds then goes to the target. It's very cheap. You can target a lot of people with low money. This is very successful. People have been losing a lot of money. Okay, so here you can see we analyzed like 1 week of Ethereum of low transactions. As I told you, 3K and 7K victims, and this is only one wallet that is doing that transaction. So only one attacker. imagine big amounts of transactions every day. Alright, here we go. Pattern number 5, bonding curve concentration. This has two effects. This can be counted from the derivatives from the first pattern of sniper attacks. So, whenever this token is launched, you can have like two things. Bots buy more than 90% on organization, and they will have more of the supply. So these bonding curves, like favorably early buyers that have bought for low money, when the value goes, is easily a rag and bone. But here you can see that the inbound fund, yes, it's the first that analyzed. 60% of launches, most of them has now more than 90% of top 10 holder concentration. And as you can see, it goes and goes. So the few ones are the ones that they have the less holder concentration. So this is one of the ones you would like to trade and not get dragged. So the ecosystem is very positive on this. And top 10 holders are not only the first 10 wallets that have more concentration. What we do is analyze bundling, that basically is having multiple wallets that have little amounts, but all of them were, as fund flow analysis, were filled with the same wallet, filled them all. So, we are not laughing, they are laughing at us because we are getting wrecked every day. And if you can see the patterns, it will discourage you to trade memes coins. So, yes, I show risk and stop trading memes. So, across 300 launches, you can see this is a sniper that bought instant buyer more than 80%, and you can see. And then the top 10 holder concentration, he later will have sell, and everything is on the high risk. So, thank you. Thank you everyone for listening to me, and thanks for listening to my game.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. We have time for one question. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Rodrigo on the chaos of patterns?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could give more details about the pattern tree, about the delegate calls, and what are these contracts, where do you see it?
Okay. They're very spread. Like, this is not one contract. This, as I mentioned, like we have like the different patterns. Each pattern like has before, I say, it comes from the one before. So when we analyze this contract that the cross-chain has been deployed, they normally have this type for you going to swap a token in their, for example, smart contracts, and you have to approval, and they use themselves as a proxy for doing this. Instead of you going to the USDC contract, for example, and approving the 100 contract, they 100 USDC to be swapped. So they will delegate the call for you. There's the issue. You have to see where you're sending the transaction should be the same as the token, for example.
So these are, for example, like fake ERC20 tokens?
Yes, might be some of them. Others will try to imitate Alex, for example, sorry. But yeah, mainly fake tokens, honey pots.
Okay, thanks.
Just out of curiosity, how it's difficult to generate those addresses that have the same 6 beginning symbols and last symbols?
Not that hard because it's the first and the last.
Yeah.
It's more difficult for another type of transaction, for addresses, I mean. And if you want to get know, it's Levenstein difference, it's called. It's how there are repos to generate addresses with that, and they are very fast. You can run it. If you are targeting some big wallets or some whales, it won't take you more than 1 day.
Because like I send money and then immediately I get like, as a transfer from the very similar addresses.
Yeah, it's nowadays this is one of the poison it has been like thriving because already have happened by high vaccine.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Great stuff. Amazing stuff. How are you guys? How's everyone feeling?
Good.